5 playoff wins down. 11 more to go. Welcome in to another episode of Donno Daily. It is Donno Daily here on a Dappa Tuesday, also a Taco Tuesday. Mr. Dave Friedman, Taco Man himself, is going to join us a little bit later on today. At around 2:35, Dave is going to be coming in. At around 2:10, Ricky J Marc, baby. Ricky J Marc is going to be coming in. I couldn't agree more, Lex Boogie. All about the Heat on this episode. Respect to the Florida Panthers, who open up their series against the Washington Capitals tonight. After the Panthers take the 1-0 lead tonight, we could talk about them a little bit tomorrow. But today, today it is all about the Miami Heat. So hello to Lex Boogie. Hello to Ian from Brooklyn. Hello to Big Dan 305. Hello to G.A. Kane fan who says, less Tua. Yeah, we're not going to be talking any Tua today. Why would we? Honestly, it's all about the Miami Heat, who get that victory against the Philadelphia 76ers last night to open up this second round series, this Eastern Conference semifinal series. 106-92, the Heat win. And I loved every second of it, even though the Heat beat a Joel Embiid-less 76ers team. I know that that's really affecting the narrative. So, okay, coming out of the Hawks series, which the Heat performed the surgical gentleman's sweep, the questions people were asking: when is Tyler Herro going to step up? When is Bam Adebayo going to step up? We got the answer to both of those questions last night. Tyler and Bam carried the Heat's offense to a Game 1 victory against the Philadelphia 76ers. Herro, absolutely brilliant. Led the Heat in scoring with 25 points. 9 for 17 he shot from the floor. 4 for 6 from 3. That's good. That's very good. That's gold, Jerry. That's gold. He went off for 12 straight points, did Herro, in his best stretch between the third and the fourth quarters. Bam Adebayo, double-double with 24 and 12. Had a plus 26 rating on the floor yesterday. And I loved the way that with Bam Adebayo, the Heat attacked old-ass DeAndre Jordan. They attacked him with Bam. They exploited him. And I loved every second of it. If you're going to go up against a weakened 76ers team without Joel Embiid, you have to take advantage of it. Tactically, schematically, you have to take advantage of it. And Eric Spoelstra and Bam Adebayo did exactly that. I love PJ Tucker. He's an absolute beast on defense, and he's always hitting timely shots. He scored 10 points last night as well. I love this guy, PJ Tucker. He was born for Heat culture. I'm sorry that he didn't end up in Miami sooner than he did. And I think it was Ethan who tweeted out from the 5 Reasons Sports account yesterday that, if assuming the Heat, if they can get through Philly, probably going to face Milwaukee in the next round. I'm hoping Boston can give Milwaukee a war. The first game was not a war. That was a massacre. But I'm hoping Boston and Milwaukee can beat each other up a little bit. But assuming the Heat, if they get through Philly, would face Milwaukee, that plucking PJ Tucker from the Bucks and putting him into Heat culture, that could be the difference in Miami, who got swept by Milwaukee last year. But the PJ Tucker exchange, not to mention Miami has gotten better in other ways, could end up being the difference in that series. Okay, I love PJ Tucker. Now, I spent a lot of time this morning watching some of the national shows and reading some of the columns being written by people outside of South Florida about Game 1 of that series. Can James Harden, can he still carry a team? That's basically the only topic being discussed outside of Miami today. Because in Miami, we're talking about Herro, we're talking about Bam, We're talking about Duncan Robinson, 0 minutes last night, and the Heat win comfortably. Coincidence? I don't want to trash Duncan today. I love Duncan. I don't know why I give the guy a hard time for no reason. But no, the only topic being discussed today from a national narrative is James Harden, with the spotlight being on the beard, with no Embiid, at least not yet. Embiid, I know, is going to try to give it a go later on this series. Can James Harden still carry a team? Now, the answer to that question, you want the short answer. The answer to that question is no. I would argue, based on his playoff record, could never truly carry a team, at least not to the promised land. But no, the answer is a double no. This is not the same James Harden of 2 years ago, even. This is not Houston James Harden. His athleticism is receding faster than that hairline of his. He's more of a distributor now than a scorer. Can still be a very valuable player, but this is not going to be the guy to carry you to a championship if Joel Embiid is out. Now, more importantly, I gave you the short answer. Can James Harden still carry a team? This was something that Skip and Shannon were debating today on Undisputed. It was riveting, believe me. Don't even bother watching it. You're going to lose brain cells, okay? The detailed answer is no, and he certainly is not going to carry Philadelphia against a team that can attack him defensively like the Miami Heat do. The Miami Heat gave James Harden that Trae Young treatment. As Brady Hawk predicted right here on the show. Did you see our interview yesterday with Brady Hawk? He predicted that this is funny, Lex. I saw James Harden at Tootsie's last night. I mean, after a tough playoff loss, you got to unwind, right? You got to get out there, and he just goes to Tootsie's for the chicken wings. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff that's going on there. But no, he's certainly, without Joel Embiid in the lineup, he's certainly not going to carry Philadelphia to a victory against a team that can attack him defensively like the Miami Heat can. They gave him the Trae Young treatment, and it still works. Worked on Trae Young for the better part of 5 games, although game 3, he did carry them to victory. And it worked on James Harden, swarming perimeter defense by the Heat. So I see those chuckleheads this morning on Undisputed, Skip and Shannon. They were asking, they asked the question, should we be expecting more from James Harden when Joel Embiid is out of the lineup for Philly? I think it's quite the opposite. I think you expect less of him with Joel Embiid out of the lineup, because Harden is not going to get a chance to breathe until Embiid is back and taking most of that pressure away. Now, you want to talk about narratives here. Before this series started, I think he talked about this as well on 5 on the Floor. And, Ethan and I had a little chat about this off the record, right before the series started, when we found out that Joel Embiid was going to miss at least 2 games. And by the way, at least 2 games. Like, this dude has issues. You got a fractured orbital. You're in the concussion protocol. He already had the shooting hand finger issue that's going to require surgery after the postseason, but that didn't keep him out before. I guess that alone wouldn't keep him out after. But this guy has no less than 3 issues right now, injury-wise. Like, I don't know if they're going to just be able to manipulate that concussion protocol, or, I just wear a mask over the orbital, whatever. But Embiid has some issues, okay? But I'm sure at some point he's going to try to give it a go, especially once Philly's probably going to be down 0-2. He'll try to give it a go in game 3. But, I spoke to Ethan before the series started, and he was sincere about this, that he was disappointed to hear that Joel Embiid was injured, because Ethan, he would rather see the Heat face a Sixers team that was at full strength. I can understand where he's coming from, okay? Because I believe, and I think he believes as well, that even if Embiid were out there for all 4 to 7 games, if he were out there for the full series, Miami would still be the better team, Embiid or not, okay? But without Embiid, the Heat, unfortunately, if they win this series, are not going to get a lot of credit for it, because it's going to be more about Harden not being enough and about Embiid not being there. That's going to be the narrative there. Now, personally, I am the type of fan, call me a coward if you want to. I don't know what I am sometimes, but I am the type of fan who would rather have the easiest road possible through the playoffs, primarily because the harder these games are, And the longer these series go, the higher the toll it's going to take on the Heat, right? So the path of least resistance to me, because if you do get all the way to the NBA Finals, you're going to face a buzzsaw like Golden State. If you have any possible advantages in the buildup to that, I will take it. Plus, let's not just give Philly a mulligan for last night because Embiid was out. Embiid gets hurt a lot. This is the playoffs, okay? You can't just lay down the way that I felt like they did last night without Embiid on the floor. The Miami Heat, let's not forget, the Heat won. They took the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference despite so many games this season without Bam, without Jimmy, without Tyler, without Lowry, who's out right now, in fact, and he's not going to play game 2 tomorrow night either. Yet, for so many of those tough games during the regular season, the Heat managed to rally and win the most games in the East. Sometimes all 4 of those guys were out at the same time. So that's a next man up mentality. I'm not sure Philly has that. Now, the next man up with us is our very good friend, Ricky J Marc. So happy to have you back, sir. And you look very intelligent with the glasses.
Something like that.
And by the way, I like the fact that you have wired headphones, because I do not own a single pair of those overpriced Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, I do.
You do? Oh, listen, you kick it old school with me, I'm happy.
I'm a sellout, man. I'm a sellout. I'm the worst. Oh, and yet here we are. Here we are.
Oh man. So okay, let's start with James Harden and the way Miami defended him. I think there's a little bit of both here, but is this more about Harden declining, or is it just more about Miami's defense being incredible?
James Harden's a loser. I'm just going to start by saying that he's a loser. I wish I could, give you I could, but I'll just start with the blunt statement. He's a loser. Why am I calling him a loser? I'm broke. I don't have the money. Of course, that's the natural insecure athlete response.
Well, we're all broke compared to James Harden. Although I did find out, so I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, Ricky. Somebody sent me a screenshot the other day that they Googled me, and according to Google, I have a net worth of $11 million. This is news to me. But if anybody can do this, because I did this myself as well. If you Google Alex Donno net worth, the result comes up $11 million. So I'm missing 10 million and some change here. But
we'll talk to Ethan about that one. Alex Donno net worth. Okay, I'm gonna look that up later. Oh my God. Look at that. It exists. $11 million.
Who knew?
Alex Donno is an actor known for Fight Time in 2012. You're an actor.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. So, that is real. I'm not. I mean, I fancy myself an actor, but no, because I've called. I've done play-by-play in the past, and for some reason, a couple of the play-by-plays that I did, I guess because it was on TV, they put that in the IMDb database, and since I was credited for that, they consider me to be an actor. So I'm an actor, and I'm worth $11 million. It's good.
Okay. Interesting. We'll have to talk a little bit off the air, Donno. I mean, I got some. I might need to hold a little something. I got some. We got some student loans I need you to take care of for me. But yeah, look, James Harden. Look, he doesn't perform when it matters. He doesn't show up when like you really need him. You would have thought that he would have brought the pain last night, but he pretty much. I think he scored 4 points in the second half yesterday against Miami. He's a loser. I mean, I think we talked about this. It might have been last week. Had he played like the MVP that he was in Houston in 2012, maybe Miami doesn't win that series, or maybe it goes to 7. But he was the one guy that pretty much just, he didn't give you anything. He didn't give you anything. And when you're relying on him to win you a series, I'm looking forward to those people that are saying, "Oh, he's too tired. He's been carrying this." No. The guy that carried the Sixers team is legitimately injured. He's got an orbital fracture and a bum finger that, is they're going to have to perform surgery on after the season, among other things. That guy is the one that's carrying this team. James Harden is he's unreliable. He's an overpaid, unreliable, quote unquote star that, when it comes down to it, can't give you what you need to win a championship, win a round, or an important round, or a competitive round. And that's just the way it is.
less than 2 years ago, it was 2 off seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
We all remember when the Heat were linked potentially in a Harden trade, and then the question of, I waffled a little bit. Ultimately, I didn't want him, but like my thing was, I had my reservations about Harden, which have been justified now. At that time I didn't think a whole lot of Tyler Herro. So like I know a big hang up for a lot of Heat fans was like, oh, we don't want to trade Herro. I'm like, who cares? Trade Herro. So I mean, I think I was right about Harden. I was wrong about Herro because Tyler Herro and Ricky, I talked about this in the open. One of the questions people had coming out of the Atlanta series, obviously, when's the Bam game? When's Bam going to show up? When's Herro going to show up? They both showed up last night, but let's talk about Tyler. I mean, he's one of the most gifted natural scorers I've seen in a long time.
Is he?
He's not.
We got some scorers in this league, Donno. I mean, they're pretty nasty. I think, and this might be a separate conversation, but I think if Tyler Herro, I might be getting myself into like late 80s Isaiah Thomas trouble with this one, but I'm gonna say this: if Isaiah, look, I think we are prone to giving Tyler Herro a lot more credit in this league because he looks like Tyler Herro.
No, and that's totally fair. That's totally fair. I mean, lanky, he's got the 14-year-old face, Caucasian kid. I totally get it.
Because, Jordan Clarkson does this on a regular. I mean, he won Sixth Man of the Year. I think it was last year or the season before. I mean, he's pretty, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. One of the most gifted scorers I've ever seen. I think we're still reeling from last night's performance. But look, I'll tell you this. I said this in one of the private group chats and got crickets, but that happens. The way he performed last night, that's expected of him. The way Bam performed last night, that's expected of him. Kyle Lowry can't play right now. His hamstrings are busted. He's 36 years old. He's going to be 37 this time next year with another 2 years on his contract. We need this kind of production from Tyler Herro. He has to perform like this because remember, it wasn't even that like we're being ridiculously optimistic or, cocky Heat fan. Tyler set the standard in 2020 against, I think it was Boston or Milwaukee or one of those two teams where he dropped 37 in a playoff game in the bubble.
Yeah.
We know what he's capable of. We know what he's capable of doing on both sides of the ball, and if he scores 25 against a, border like an arguably play-in quality team on some occasions in the Sixers, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm glad he performed that way, and it's good to see your players perform in that way. But the thing is, for me, I've watched too many championship teams. I've watched too many championship seasons. My arms are folded like this. I'm like, okay, good. Do it again. We got 3 more of these before the conference finals. Go do it again. Go do it again. Go do it again. And when we win the title, okay, win 2 straight. I'm happy. I'm feeling good. I might, do a little dance or whatever, but do it again. That's what's expected of you. We are, as Heat fans, we expect this team to win a title, at least based on what I see in the comments, right? So if we expect this team to win a title, Tyler's supposed to perform that way. That's what's expected of you in LA when they're actually relevant. That's what's that's what was expected of guys like Dwayne, LeBron, Bosh during the Big Three era. You don't hit 25 points. Well, what's wrong with you? That's why you're getting the max money. That's why you're Sixth Man of the Year. That's why you're going to get a baby max when the time comes, And I mean, it's good. It's good that he found his spots, but he's expected to do this. This is his 3rd season, and he's about to win Sixth Man of the Year. So, go out and do that. The same way a fish is expected to swim, a bird is expected to fly, and Alex Donno is expected to look good in a beret. These are things that are expected. Go do it. You know what I'm saying? It might not be what some people like to want to hear. It might rub some people the wrong way. But the reality is, basketball's a business, but you got to have a business-like mentality when it comes to winning these games. Walk off the floor. Don't hot dog. You were supposed to drop 25. You were supposed to. So, I mean, that's just me. I don't know.
That's well said. Now, We had a DNP coach's decision for Duncan Robinson. I'm guessing that's situational. So what sort of situations the rest of the way will call for him to get some time?
Blowouts.
This is why I like you, because you and I, we understand the real Duncan Robinson narrative.
Because look, I mean, he has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. He hasn't risen to the occasion. I mean, he's had some good games here and there, but if you look back, you go to basketballreference.com and you take a look at how he performs against the better teams in this league, doesn't give you much. He'll have a 26-point game here and there. I think he had 26 or 27 against the Bulls once earlier this season, but against the big teams, nothing. Like, guys know how to defend him now. He hasn't risen to the challenge, and the reality is you can't play him, because here's the thing: if he's not hitting threes, what else is he doing?
That's
getting out rebounded, somebody sailing
and
over him.
And that's why I like
rebound.
Max Strus so much better, because when Max Strus, even when he's not hitting his threes, he's doing so much else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'll even say this: it's like, I know people, of course, and this might be one of those people say type interview type meetings type moments today, but the reality is, it's like, am I wrong? What am I saying that's incorrect? I'm talking about the facts. I'm talking about the stats. I'm talking about the fact that you've seen on, let's say, on the bad games or whatever, you'll see this 6'8" guy just standing there. Some more athletic guy sails past him for a rebound. If you can't shoot, what else are you doing? We can't stick you on a moderately talented offensive player. We can't stick you in the paint to post somebody up or to box somebody out. What else? I mean, at the very least, like, there were shots last night. I'm like, ooh, Strus. Like, I was almost like, man, we might have to have that Max Strus conversation, because he had missed like 3 in a row, but he gives you other things. With Duncan, it's like, like what, just to quote Kendall from the Post Up, 19 mil. 19 mil for what? It's just to pay that much to another. I know the market determined that last summer and all that other fun stuff, but honestly, for this team to take another step forward after they win the championship this season, is you got to move Duncan, and Tyler and Bam need to be more like what we saw last night, without worrying about whether or not Jimmy or Kyle are going to overshine them. That's just the way it is. It's blowouts. He's not playable in the playoffs. If you can't rely on him on a championship team, what are you paying him that much money for? Ship him out and bring in somebody that can.
Now, I know that for the night that Bam had last night, which was great, 24 and 12, he was a big part of that win. Obviously, it helps him out a lot with Joel Embiid out of the lineup, and they were really attacking DeAndre Jordan, which is good. You want to exploit any weakness in your opponent. So, all right, and we both talked about Embiid, who does have serious issues. Like, when you're talking about a broken orbital, that's an issue. I'm at some point this series, though, they're going to try to mask him up and play him maybe as soon as game 3. So if they can get even 80% of Joel Embiid, how would that change the dynamic of this series if and when he's able to go?
Well, because 80% of Joel Embiid is better than 90% of the centers in this league, except for maybe Jokic and Giannis when he plays at the 5. I mean, Joel Embiid is a supremely talented big man. I mean, he's a revolutionary big man in some senses, because this is a 7-foot, almost 300-pound guy that can shoot threes and score from anywhere on the court, while also playing really good defense. And, when he's not, flopping to the ground like his buddy James, but like he can, he can run a little bit, when he's healthy and all that other stuff. But he's one of the best centers in the league. He's a top 3 MVP candidate. 80% of that. I mean, that's not bad. You could do a lot worse. And here's the thing, and I have a feeling we might be shifting to Bam ever so slightly. Bam got to bring it. 24 and 12. What was it? 24 and 12 last night?
24 and 12, yeah.
24 and 12. Okay, you're supposed to do that. There were stretches throughout that game where I'm sitting there watching like, oh no, come on, Bam. There was an offensive rebound where Bam had, I don't even remember the guy's name who was guarding him, because quite frankly, between me and you, it doesn't matter. He's some guy who's like, 11th on their rotation before all the injuries happened. Like, he could have easily just spun back around like Shaq in his prime could have. You don't need to be Shaq size to do it. Spun back around, easy layup or jam. Bam didn't do it, ended up passing out, and I think it was like almost like a shot clock violation. We've talked about this before, and I'll say it again. Look, I've had it up to here with the whole, lighting a fire under Bam. Bam is the best big man in the not league. Let me stop. But in the series, take advantage. Like, if he takes advantage of the opportunities that he has in front of him, there's no reason why we can't get 30 and 15 out of him. It's really not like, look at who's guarding him on the other end. Look, DeAndre Jordan is, he gets shot blocks and all that other stuff, but he's not known for shutting people down. I mean, Andrew Bynum had a career high 42 against him early in his career back in the late thousands. Okay. This is a guy who's not known for post defense. He's big. He's somewhat athletic, but this is a guy who's washed. It's it.
Yeah,
like, this
washed.
Is it for him.
That's the word. That's the exact word.
It. I mean, I'll leave it to some of our stats guys to really talk about what that statistical impact was on the Sixers when he was on the floor. But there's a reason he got cut by the Lakers. There's a reason why, despite signing a big deal with the Nets when Kyrie and KD showed up, that he was unplayable. That Jarrett Allen, who ended up getting a $100 million deal from the Cavs, ended up outplaying him and sending him to the bench where he belonged. Like, bam, take over. Like, it's time. We need this. I don't want to hear oh no, he's just playing within himself. No, he's on a max contract. I want 30 and 15 out of him. Like, he can get that. And the sooner he does that, the sooner we can put these guys away. The sooner we can put these guys away, the sooner we can rest those old bodies on the end of the bench and let them heal up. Because the quicker you can deal with this series, the quicker you can get Lowry back, the quicker you can get PJ Tucker healthier, the quicker you can rest up Jimmy's knees even more, and the more time. Because remember, this is an older team.
Yeah.
And you need the rest. And clearly the rest hasn't hurt anybody, because look at what they did to Atlanta in game 1. Shut them down. Look at what they did to Philly in this series. It can be done, but bam, let's go. Come on now. This is what's expected of you now.
You mentioned earlier those 36-year-old hamstrings of Kyle Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like one of those things now. I think it's been 3 straight games that he's missed, where it's like, and we know the way the Heat operate, right? They want to keep everything very close to the vest. So I'm starting to get the feeling that, like, maybe from the onset, this might be just a little bit more serious than they wanted us to think. I hope I'm wrong about that, because it's like a game. It's like a game-to-game thing. But I think it was already confirmed today. Somebody was asking in the chat. He's already confirmed out for game 2 tomorrow. Do you predict Kyle Lowry is going to play in this series? And if he doesn't, can Vincent continue to hold up the way he has?
Gabe Vincent he's had a really good season, but quite frankly, he's what you want out of your third string point guard. Miami never truly addressed its backup point guard situation. Gabe has overachieved this season. I don't know that he can necessarily sustain it. I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic. And if he does, more power to him, because I like Gabe Vincent as a player. He gives you a lot, and he's scrappy. He fights. He's what Heat culture likes out of their backup point guards. But the reality is, it's just, the hope is that Kyle Lowry comes back soon. I think the earliest might just, fantasy doctor situation. I think at some point, maybe game 4. But quite frankly, if he doesn't play a game in this series, I hope it's because they swept the Sixers and he's just getting ready for the conference finals. We also need to understand that Kyle Lowry, like I mentioned before, he's 36 years old. 36-year-old hamstrings don't heal like 30-year-old hamstrings or 30 or 25-year-old hamstrings, especially after all the tread on his tires that we've seen throughout the years. He's going to need time. And hamstring injuries are not fun. I've hurt my hamstrings in the past, but that was even in my 20s, and that was annoying. And I'm not a super athlete like these guys are, but
don't sell yourself short.
I'm just trying to stay humble. God is good. But reality is, like, he's going to need as much time as he can get. And hopefully Miami recognizes that, plays with a sense of urgency, because look, I have the Heat winning in 6. And that's because I suspect that there will be 3 games in this series that Miami will play with their food, and they'll win one of them. And the other 2 games will be Sixers wins, and it'll be like, preventing the inevitable. But hopefully the Heat can sweep this series, finish it by the end of next week, so everybody can rest. Kyle Lowry's old. He's old. I don't know why they paid him that much money, but he's old, and we're going to need him in the conference finals and in the finals, especially if Miami ends up playing Phoenix, because you're going to need Kyle Lowry up against Chris Paul or CP3 6 weeks, whichever you want to call him.
By the way, last thing for you, and this is enjoyable as always. This is one of our favorite people to talk with here, Ricky J Marc, becoming more and more popular. I can't explain why. For a couple months, I just stopped calling. I wish I hadn't because he's been so good.
It wasn't you. It was security. It's
it was security wouldn't let you in. Well, look, so what about the other series in the East? Milwaukee. They made it look easy game one. Is Boston going to counterpunch? Who do you see coming out?
I think they will, but I'm concerned about Marcus Smart's injuries because if I'm not mistaken, he hurt both his shoulder and his quad in game one. And as a defender, you're going to need both of those things, especially when you're picking out loose balls, playing the passing lanes, setting yourself up for charges, staying in front of your man. Marcus Smart is a fighter. I'm sure many Heat fans hate him, but they would love him on their team. Without question. This is a guy that helped galvanize this roster and help make them into I believe, the league's best defense this season. He's the defensive player of the year for this year, and they're going to miss him. They're going to need him. I think Boston will fight back. I don't see this series ending quickly. I could see it going to a 6 or a 7. You hope that that's the case, especially if Miami sweeps the Sixers. But I think right now, with the way things currently are, Giannis is going to have I have a feeling he's going to have a really good game, really good game too. But it wouldn't shock me if the Celtics won tonight and sent it back to Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee, when they get back to Milwaukee, I think it'll get interesting, but I think Milwaukee will probably come out on top in that series. I initially had the Celtics, but of course injuries happen and that changes the dynamic of series. I think Milwaukee's probably going to win that series in 6 or 7.
I would agree. By the way, Doug has a question for you. He says, what's more theater, Steve Harvey as a judge or James Harden's defense?
Well, one of them would have to exist in order for me to compare them. And we know Steve Harvey has a judge show. So I'm not really sure how to answer your question, Dougie Fresh. But I hope that's the best I could do, man.
Does he really have a judge show now? I've not been keeping up with daytime TV. So does he now have his own judge show?
I think so. I think I might have seen something like that some time ago.
Because I assumed he was talking about the Miss Universe debacle, like when he announced, but he was like he was hosting that.
Yeah,
not
he was
judging
hosting.
it.
He was hosting everything else in that network. My goodness, the run that Steve Harvey has been on the last few years. I mean, good for him. That's just money.
Tell you the only time I ever see daytime TV is when you go to the one of my hello. One of my relatives was just calling me, hitting me up for money after they saw my net worth. But no, the only time that I ever run into daytime TV these days is when I'm in the waiting room at the dentist office or when I'm in the waiting room at the mechanic. Like, it's a weird thing. It's like, everybody has like switched to like streaming now, except for doctors' offices and mechanics' offices. They still have the rabbit ears outside, and you get to watch Judge Judy while you wait for your oil change. So that's the only time I know anything about daytime TV. But yeah, words of wisdom, as we often get here from Ricky J Marc. Anything you want to promote, my friend, and feel free to talk about your website where you do some awesome things, even outside of sports.
Yes. So just the other day on Friday, I did the Band-Aid's gone. You got to take those off. After a while.
I saw your tweet. Yeah,
I did get my second booster. I mixed it up.
You got superpowers now.
Yeah. I'm a newly christened member of the Moderna Mafia. My first 3 shots were Pfizer gang all day. And I figured I'd do that because I actually read a few studies. Like, I actually did the research as opposed to all these other dudes that go on YouTube and get these random conspiracy
I let you do the research for me.
Yeah, well, apparently when you mix up the particular doses, for example, between Pfizer and Moderna, it actually generates more, from what I understand.
Really?
It generates more antibody production in your body. So if you get your first 2 or 3 shots as Moderna and you get Pfizer, you're basically covering a lot more bases. And because Moderna and Pfizer, I believe, we might, if I'm not careful, YouTube might flag this if I say certain things. But I got to be careful with that. But
the globalists are always watching. So you have to
where's my hat? I almost had. Oh, it's not here.
I got to make a new tinfoil hat. I finally threw away the one that I had been using for like 8 months. It was just time.
Are you sure someone from Chicago didn't have it taken from you? No, that's another conversation.
And you know what? I miss her so much. Alana, if you watch this, I miss you so much because she used to be a weekly regular on the show until
Yeah,
she got some fancy because we can't all be worth 11 million,
that's
right?
right.
Like, you
That's
know,
right.
we can't all just be semi-employed like me. She
True
got some
story.
fancy job, and I haven't been able to chat with her on the show for a few months. So I miss you if you're watching this.
Same thing. True story. I mean, you know what it is? When you are a content machine like she is, it's hard to not have people practically breaking down your door begging for content and skills. And that's just the way it is. I mean,
Yeah, people beg
anybody,
me not to do content, and I keep
yeah,
doing more to spite them.
it's just, yeah, that's just the way it is. But yeah, so like if you go to rickyjmark.com, you can go right there. If you're living in France or in the United States, you can schedule your booster shot. You know, contrary to popular belief, the pandemic is not yet over. Get your shot. I was a little sore for like a day or so. I got over it. I mean, at this point, many of you have already done it, and I commend you for that. You go ahead and do that. I'm working on editing a new episode of RJM Radio where I had a conversation with a good buddy of mine from the European Parliament about the fallout from the French election. I think I might have mentioned that some time ago, but we're still in the process of doing that. You know, you can catch me on Before Floor, pregame, occasionally on postgame. The guys, Royal A. Shepard, Threat, Jonathan Romlicon, Gadiel Cartagena, Threat, Kendall, Brian Young. God, who else? Who else is usually on there? Oh man, there's a lot of. Sometimes it's a carousel of talent, but those are great guys.
Of thousands, but they're all
Yeah,
so good because whenever
they are.
and sometimes I'll watch and like I'll see someone I don't even know who it is. I'm like, damn, they're good too.
True story. But yeah, like they, they're going to be ready and waiting for you after every Heat post game. You can catch me on Before Floor with Ethan J. Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Jonathan Romlicon, Alejandro Villegas on the ones and twos. Oh my God, Brady Hawk, occasionally Sean Rochester.
Oh, he's good too.
Yeah. Tony Schwartz. There we go. I forgot his last name for a second. But yeah, like
in the lane, yeah.
There we go. So we got guys, we got people, next man up there. Business has been picking up, so I haven't been able to do as many Before Floor episodes, but they've been holding down the fort. I mean, I'm just a character, I'm just a player on the team, and they've just been keeping it going. So I mean, basically, that's 5 reasons for you. We're a squad, we're a squad of people, and at this point, yeah, like we got a lot going on. Round the clock playoff coverage. You got Alex Donno in the afternoons. It doesn't stop. I think starting 9, Ethan J. Skolnick. I think he does Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 9 in the morning.
I thought he told me. I thought he told me last week that he was going to try to go every day with that this week. So I think he's really putting it because Ethan probably does like 4 or 5 Heat shows a day, and I think he's expanding starting 9.
Yeah. Not only that, you have the post game podcast, 5 on the Floor with Greg Sylvander, Ethan J. Skolnick,
Alex Toledo.
Yes, Alex
Brady,
Toledo.
yeah.
Brady Hawk, definitely. They do that. So you've got all this stuff going on before, during, and after the game. You got the Paces and Spaces with Sean Rochester, Tony Schwartz, and Monday night Marco Romo, as well as a bunch of other people whose names, if I forgot your name, don't take it personally. There's just so many of us here. So, I mean, we got that content pumping out. We got stuff going on. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to see it all happen, especially during the playoffs. We're getting views. I think we recently crossed 18,000 subscribers. That's also great. But yeah, ultimately, for me, rickyjmark.com, you can go there. You can learn more about me, learn what I'm about. You can reach out to me via rickyjmark.com/contact, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah. Also, you can get your booster. It's safe. It's effective. I'm not sure I ever caught it. I think I might be one of the lucky ones though. But I'm.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
My duty is to be protected because I got people that are pushing 60 now, and I got to take care of them because I might not be affected by it because of my age and youth and all that other stuff, but other people might. And my body's done a pretty good job of theoretically keeping this thing at bay. And the sooner we can be more responsible with it, the sooner the rest of the global South can actually receive the vaccine and have access to it, the sooner we can get out from under this thing and enjoy not just sports, but life, love, liberty, happiness, all that other fun stuff. But, that's where we're at right now. So if y'all want to reach me, y'all know where to find me right here. There you go. The same thing on every social media. I'm always happy to join you, Donno. And what is it? Let's go Heat. I think that's what Greg says whenever he hosts pregame. So there you go. There's that.
Well, I love you, man, and I appreciate the positive influence you bring in my life and in the life of our viewers. So enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk after a couple more of these great Heat victories.
Oh yeah, for sure. Heat and 4 now.
Beautiful, Ricky J Marc, and I'm going to bring on shortly our guy Taco About Sports, and I have the benefit of being able to see him backstage. You guys don't. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be real good. Before we do that, I want to remind you, my friends, to support our awesome sponsors. You're looking for a place to watch some of these games. You don't feel like watching from home. Maybe you've cut the cord and you're like, oh, God, I don't have the channel to watch it. You can watch it at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Watch all the basketball playoff games. You got the Florida Panthers tonight, my friends. They're going to take a 1-0 series lead over the Washington Capitals later this evening. Panthers, Heat, international soccer, UFC fights. You got UFC 274 this weekend. They're going to have it at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill for zero cover charge. All the UFC pay-per-view fights for zero cover. They got TVs covering every wall. They got the big screens out on the patio. Guys, if you haven't tried the Quarterdeck yet or you haven't been out there lately, it's time to head out there and give it a shot. The food is delicious. I love the fresh seafood, the mahi-mahi. The sushi is great. The burgers and sandwiches are awesome. The baby back ribs are tender, flavorful, and delicious. And they have 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. Yeah, that's the way to wet your whistle. If you want to find the location nearest to you, they're all over Broward County, or check out that menu before you go. You could visit their website, quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. Oh, and if you're looking for some action, my friends, you know what? I sat last night out and I regret it. You guys remember the conversation we had with Brady Hawk? We talked about the betting odds for not only the series where the Heat were minus 350 favorites to start the series. I'm sure that number's widened even more. But for last night's game, the Heat were 7.5-point favorites in game one. I didn't have the guts. I sat that one out. And Brady Hawk told me, now Brady Hawk, I don't know. You know what? I think I did get him hooked up at BetUS.com. So he put his money where his mouth is. And the Heat won the game comfortably by 14 points last night. I wish I had bet Heat minus 7.5. If you did, congratulations. And guys, you want to place a wager? It takes me 3 seconds to do it because I am connected at BetUS.com. BetUS.com is America's favorite sports book. It is a full-service online sports book, fully available in Florida. You can use all the features in the state of Florida, and it's awesome. You can bet all the games, all the fights, UFC 274 this weekend, you can bet on it. All the basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, you can bet on it, including live betting on everything. You can bet during the games. So do yourself a favor. If you want to take advantage of this playoff run and get some action, sign up at betus.com. Use our code 5RSN125, and we give you the best bonus in the business. 5RSN125 will get you a 125% sign-up bonus. That's free play money right there in your account to use. They have an online casino. I've been playing a lot of blackjack in there lately. Sign up today, betus.com, code 5RSN125. You bet, you win, you get paid, betus.com. It looks, honestly, Taco About Sports, hard taco away. You look
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful.
That was the point of it. I got to look. The taco fits in there somewhere always, right?
It does. And
that's what she said.
It looks to me. It looks to me like you played a few more minutes than Duncan Robinson did last night.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, they're paying him a lot of money, right? So you can't really feel too bad about it, you know.
No. Now, did you deliberately make the lights behind you red to add to the ambiance? Because if so, I appreciate it.
So I did, but part of it too is we did PrizePicks on 5, yesterday with Ethan, and he said something about the red lights, and he said, "Oh, it's white hot." I said, "What am I supposed to do? Make them white? Like, how boring is that, right?" Yeah. So they won. We're going with red, man. And this is more to put it in Ethan's face a little bit, you know.
He deserves it. Now
I know he's watching.
What were your big takeaways from last night? Because, like, to me, I thought that the Heat attacked it the right way without Joel Embiid on the floor. And I also, even without Embiid, I expected Philly to fight a little bit more. I know it was just one game. One game does not a series make. I think Yoda said something like that. But what were your big takeaways from last night?
Look, again, on the show yesterday with Ethan doing the PrizePicks stuff, like my pick was Harden under on like everything. Assists, fantasy score. I mean, to me, what I said specifically was like they're going to give him the Trae Young treatment, right?
Yep.
I mean, look, it's not that it was Trae Young, it was the defense, right? So I mean, they just applied that. I think Ethan retweeted something that was saying, the team hasn't played a good offense like that, or there's not a defense that they haven't seen, or something along those lines. And it was just funny because, like, yeah, it is the defense. It wasn't the fact that Trae Young sucked. So, I mean, to me, it was applicable to Harden, right? So, look what happened.
What do you think about Tyler Herro's night? That's what everybody in the chat wants to talk about. Is that going to continue for the entire series?
It should, right? I mean, that's who we think he is. I mean, like, it's funny because I'll go back and like find tweets from years ago based on keywords and things, right? So we all do that. It's receipts, right? We all have receipts. And, so I go back and I look at the bubble type stuff and it's like, hand this kid the keys, and even back then we saw a glimpse of it, but like we needed that back then. We needed that little extra something. It's now or never, but like he's proven at this point that he can be that guy. And it looks like his outside shooting is really what has gotten. Look, what do you take that from, like half court, that one shot almost?
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was like 3/4 court at least, or yeah, 2/4, whatever it was. He took a long three.
I've never seen him do that really consistently. So if he starts doing that, they're not trading him for Bradley Beal. They're not, they're nothing.
What's your prediction for the series?
I'll go Heat in 5 again, right? Look, it's catchy. Look, we've seen this team enough. They're bound to like slip up once. Without Embiid, I don't think they should lose a game there. So if he comes back game 3, whatever, but he's not going to be 100%. He's going, his hand on top of that. I mean, Bam's going to stop that shit anyway. So who cares, right? Heat in 5.
Do you have any? And I know we're over 24 hours away from game 2, but do you any leans on what you might be thinking for PrizePicks tomorrow night in terms of over-unders, right? Because we just saw Tyler and Bam have big games. Do you think maybe Jimmy has a big game tomorrow? Maybe Oladipo has a big game. What are you thinking there?
I thought Jimmy was going to have that game yesterday, and he kind of did in the first half. I mean, he was not only was he hitting shots, like when he's hitting shots and they're hitting nothing but net, that's a big difference for him. Something happened in the second half, but they didn't really need it. But I do think he's the key here, right? I mean, when he's doing a little bit of everything, that's when they're on. That's when they're really doing what they need to do. I mean, look, Depot, he looked like he got into it a little bit, but when he's aggressive, man, he made one move to the basket and he got bumped a little bit. He it was like a little 10-footer, and I was like, to me, it was a D Wade move.
Yeah,
it was something that he would make that exact drive, get bumped. He's got some little extra potential in him that nobody else has. I think it's another guy off the bench, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, man, that's like a big, big thing for them.
Who would you, and I know I'm getting 3 games ahead of myself, but that I'm not on the court. I can do this. Dave can do this. Who would you rather see in the Eastern Conference Finals, Boston or Milwaukee? Milwaukee, they look very good in game 1.
I mean, look, they have Giannis. But at the same time, the Heat are the team that shut him down the most in his career. So if they don't have Middleton, like you have to go that direction just because, a healthy Celtics team with Tatum and Brown and, just take the team that's wounded a little bit. But, man, it's hard to pick a team with Giannis, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. What do you think? This has become, I notice people debating this in the chat. Last shot situation, 5 seconds on the clock. You're down 2. Do you want the ball in Herro's hands, Jimmy's hands, or Bam's hands? I say Tyler. I say Tyler because Jimmy has not shown me enough in the last shot finishes. And like if you potentially need a 3, obviously Bam is not my first choice. I think Tyler's my first choice.
So, like Jimmy did hit a couple game winners in Philly right before he came over here. I mean, he can, they trust him in these situations. But we've seen it a lot where they run weird plays and he gets not really great shots off, especially for him. Like he's not the fadeaway, he needs like a decent look. Tyler not only needs to be that guy now, but like they need him to do that to show that he's that guy. Like he needs to be that guy who can get you that bucket, right? He's a bucket. They're both buckets, I guess. But you need him to be the bucket. That's it. I mean, he's got to be the guy moving forward, I think. You're right.
Now, show people again the back. You got a Timmy Hardaway jersey. And let me ask you.
I got more coming. I got a wardrobe change.
Is that like something you bought recently as a throwback, or is that vintage going back to the 90s?
Oh, no. I have the Zoe like champion jersey we were talking about. That's all torn up. I got this a couple years ago. It's Adidas. So
I didn't even notice that, but I figured because like I was looking at that jersey, I'm like, there is no way for 20 years you've been able to keep that jersey looking that like the colors pop. Like there's like I'm thinking that would be faded.
I am super OCD. I am a little bit, but not that. No, you're right. It was like I said, Adidas. But look, I have like 5, 6, however many D-Wade jerseys. I got a UD jersey. I got a Zoe jersey. 2 of them. Timmy was like a different, I think you had to be there kind of thing with Timmy.
Oh, I love Timmy. Yeah. And he always like in his interviews, like he just had the whole attitude, right? Like I guess I can use the word swagger to describe something that's not even hurricane related. He had a lot of swag, Timmy.
Yeah.
So I enjoy
it wasn't just that. It was look, again, it was the experience of him bringing the ball down the court and popping a 3. It's just things like that, and hearing Dr. Jack Ramsey while he's doing it. It's a memory thing.
Well, I want to encourage everybody. You need to be watching Dave's coverage on the PrizePicks on 5. Like, this guy's helping you win money. Like, you need to listen to this guy. And
I heard you were talking about beforehand with Ricky that you were at you were worth $11 million or something. Is that
thing that so it's not a thing, but it is a thing on the internet. And so and I used to a lot of times I've done this so many times, especially when I'm hosting radio shows and stuff, where you Google the net worth of a celebrity and something always comes up, and I assume the internet doesn't lie, right? Like why would a Google result lie?
No.
And the other day, a friend of mine sends me this screenshot that says I don't know what they were doing, but they Googled me, and there's something out there that says my net worth is $11 million. And I saw this. I'm like,
you looked at your bank account. You're like, wait a second.
I checked my bank account. There was not 11. There was like 1,100 in there, not 11 million. Okay, so I don't know. We're off by a couple of decimals or something. But yeah, no. The moral of the story is, the internet does sometimes lie, because I don't, and I was even like racking my brain. Like, first of all, how would anyone know this? And second of all, I'm like running through my assets, because I've got some equity in my home. I got a big ass mortgage, but I do have some equity there. Whatever my car is worth, which is like 6 years old. And I'm like, no, the math does not add up. Sorry.
Well, no, what I was getting at for me, I mean, I heard that and I'm like looking at my money for PrizePicks, and it was up to like 7 million, but like I felt really I felt poor compared to that. Like all of a sudden you made me feel bad about myself. But yeah, I mean, 7.1 now from PrizePicks.
Ooh, well, don't ever feel bad about yourself. And I tell people all the time, PrizePicks, first of all, it's so easy. The mobile app is so convenient, and we got a hookup for you. So sign up, prizepicks.com, or the PrizePicks mobile app. Just download the app. We have apps for everything now. He's got a PrizePicks t-shirt. He's got a PrizePicks t-shirt. Now, when you sign up, make sure you make your first deposit with our code 5.
I had to do it, man. I had to do it for
especially because I've still got the old PrizePicks logo, so that's why I just let you supply when you come on, you've usually got a mug or a t-shirt.
That was kind of the point, right? So I didn't want to do the cup thing today. I got some nice shirts they sent me.
That's nice.
Figured wardrobe change,
I mean, I figure with the amount of money you're winning, they should make you pay for those shirts. With you're worth 7.1 million, and that's legitimate. It's not like my 11
It's just
million.
gold plated. It's just on the inside. It's not reversible.
So you guys, you want to sign up at PrizePicks, PrizePicks.com or the PrizePicks mobile app. Use our code FIVE5, and they'll match your first deposit 100% up to $100. PrizePicks, it combines my love for daily fantasy and for parlays. You select 2, 3, 4 players. You can go cross league, cross sport, and if you get your predictions correct, you win real money. You can make up to 10 times your money for getting 4 predictions correct. And go ahead and hit that easy button for me. That's how easy it is. Oh, I guess you hit it at the very. Oh.
It's easy.
Oh, my thunder, bro.
Sorry. And you also
No, we're coming back with it. Oh, it's still coming. That's what
you started to lag. Oh yeah, it is. All right, so
yeah.
we will wrap up the conversation, sir. Dave Friedman at Taco About Sports. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Love you, bro.
That was easy.
Love you too, man. And that was easy. If only life was as easy as talking to Dave Friedman. Throw some shout outs to the people out there. Yeah, FLA Live Arena tonight. Yes. Indade writes in, Panthers finished first in the entire league. President's Trophy, my friends. Finished with the most goals. One of the best offenses I've seen with my eyes. With my own 2 eyes, my friends. Most shots on goal, most OT wins. Panthers versus Capitals tonight. Get hyped. We are going to be, and the Panthers are going to win tonight. Rest assured. We will be breaking it down tomorrow here on the show. So thank you, Indade, for tuning in. Oh, yeah, Alex M., that's a great point. I should not be talking about my 11 million net worth because the IRS, they're always watching. Color. You know you're a Canes fan when you see a Dolphins fan hanging a Jim Kelly jersey in there. Yeah, listen, man. I hated what Jim did to the Dolphins. I loved what he did for the Canes. So it's one of those things, man. Jim Kelly, inspiration, no matter what side of it you look at. Lex Boogie, thank you so much. Yeah, Heat always do have the best, except for the Vice. What was it? The Vice Versa? No, the Vice Wave. The one that was all the multiple colors. The one that looked like a clown vomited. That's the only jersey I have. And the Trophy Gold one wasn't good either. But for the most part, the Heat always have the best jerseys. Thank you for tuning in, Lex. Thank you, Dougie Fresh. Thank you, Rodney Jean. Thank you so much. And yeah, Josh, it's funny you say this. I don't know if you tuned in late or if you were rehashing what I said earlier, but yeah, I talked about this near the opening of the show because I was watching all the national shows today, Josh. Main story in the national media today. Has James Harden lost it? What's wrong with Harden? Was the Harden trade worth it? Not much attention on Miami. So good. Or Miami's defense. The NBA, you notice the NBA coverage on national TV. It's just a shitty algorithm. So, and networks like ESPN and Fox Sports 1, they're doing research. Like, they don't just throw topics at their hosts with reckless abandon, right? When the producers at ESPN and Fox Sports 1 are coming out with their rundowns of, hey, these are the top, Skip, Shannon, Stephen A, these are the topics you guys have to hit hard today. They're not, and I'm sure, Stephen A, Shannon, Skip, they contribute to that. Like they don't just show up and read off a prompter. Like they contribute to that. But guys, they do research. They have an algorithm. And the NBA algorithm sucks because the NBA algorithm is, as long as you talk about the Lakers, even though they didn't even sniff the playoffs this year, what's wrong with the Lakers? Will the Lakers be back? LeBron, blah, blah, blah. As long as you talk about the Lakers, as long as you talk about the Nets, and now what's wrong with Harden, you're just giving away free clicks. I'm telling you, it's an algorithm. It's an algorithm. I haven't done this yet today because they post all their stuff on YouTube. I was watching on live TV today. Homework assignment for all of you, and I'm going to do this myself. Go to YouTube you're on YouTube right now if you're watching this, but go elsewhere on YouTube after the show and look at the videos that First Take, ESPN, and Fox Sports 1 Undisputed have published, because they put out videos of like all their segments. And I guarantee you, the ones where they're talking about what's wrong with Harden are getting a lot more clicks than anything else they're talking about. It's this weird spin cycle negativity algorithm where negative stories unfortunately hit more than the positive stories do, and just certain names, Harden, LeBron, Embiid, those are going to get you clicks when other things won't. So that's just the reality. And you know what? With the national narrative sucking that much, I hope you tell your friends that if they're interested in actual Miami Heat talk, right? In talking about what the Heat did defensively to frustrate Harden, because we've done that on this show today. All over this network, we've done that. You bet your ass. Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, the entire cast, Ricky J Marc, who was on with us, Brady Hawk, they're talking about what the Heat did to win last night. The national media is talking about what Philly did to lose. So if you want to hear the Heat angle, you come to us, man. You come to us at 5reasonsports.com and 5 Reasons YouTube and all of our podcast channels. So just the national stuff is what it is. There's a method to the madness. Like they're good at what they do. But if you're a Heat fan, you're not interested in talking about James Harden being washed for 16 hours today. It's not what you want. You come to us for that. Thank you, Lex Boogie, for tuning in today. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate you. And by the way, I'm using this Cold War era backup laptop. My actual laptop, which was getting fixed, it's ready for pickup today. So I don't have to squint anymore, because the screen that I'm looking at, I'm using a MacBook. Thank the Lord it actually works. I'm using a MacBook Air from 2012. Takes me like 20 minutes to start it up, but it's getting the job done. But the screen is so small, I can barely read you guys' comments. So forgive me. But thank you. Tyler Herro series. Yeah, you're right about that, because I did put in the title of this episode something about Tyler Herro game. But no, it could be the Tyler Herro series. John F. Kennedy, thank you so much for tuning in. You're probably so tired of me making that joke every time I put up your comment. The man's been dead for almost 60 years. Sorry about that. Another John Kennedy, thank you for watching. Dougie Fresh, thank you so much. Indeed. Robert Ibarra, thank you so much for tuning in. Alex M, my guy, he writes in, Donno is part of the soccer stadium deal in Miami where the city and the people will pay for it. The thing is, like, the soccer stadium thing, it's weird. Like they're getting a sweetheart deal on the land. That's for sure. But the actual stadium and the construction is privately funded, not publicly funded. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like if you're on Billy Corbin's Twitter feed and you're seeing what David Sampson is saying, they make it sound as though the city's paying 100% of the bill. It's not true. But at the same time, like they're definitely getting a sweetheart deal on the land, but it's not as bad as the Marlins thing. Like the Marlins Park deal was way worse for the city. Shake Money, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you. Let me throw out a few more before my eyes just explode out of their sockets trying to read this Cold War era laptop. Me Jr., thank you so much. He says, are the 76ers a better team without Harden? Ooh. I think when they're whole, like Harden's not enough without Joel Embiid. I think when they're whole, they are a better team. But that's actually a good question. And I noticed a lot of people agreed with him in the chat. Frampton, thank you so much for tuning in. Brooklyn Rob, thank you so much. Now, I resent this comment. Says you would figure with an 11 million net worth, he could afford a decent wardrobe. So this suit that I'm wearing today. Now, you guys, if you've been watching the show for a while, you've probably seen me say since October, I have dropped 50 pounds. I've lost 50 pounds. And one of the benefits of that is if you save your old clothes, like clothes that I literally have not been able to fit in since like 2005 was the last time I was this light. I've dug up a couple of old suits that fit me in 05, hadn't fit me since, that fit me again. Okay. And so I uncovered this suit like a week ago or so. And like I didn't necessarily remember the brand names of every piece of clothing I own. And I pull this suit jacket out of the closet and I look at the label. And for a hot second, I thought the label said Armani. And I'm like, whoa. Who gave me an Armani suit? I know I didn't buy. Then I looked a little closer and it said Alfani. So I'm not wearing Armani. I'm wearing Alfani. But for a hot second, I thought I had an Armani suit. I didn't know where it came from, but no, it's Alfani. You got to read the fine print, folks. Let's see. Antoine Kinchin, thank you so much for tuning in. Mitchell, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. We throw out a couple more. I am running late. I got to go pick up my computer. Then I got to pick up my my kid. He can wait. Mitchell, I think I already shouted you out. All right, that's going to do it for the shout-outs. Wait. Big Dan 305. I saw G.A. Kane fan in here as well. He gets a shout-out. Good afternoon to you too. If I missed anybody in the live chat, I apologize. I try to shout out everybody. Sometimes we miss people. Let's go Heat. Let's go Panthers. Panthers going to get it done tonight against the Washington Capitals. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Oh, and quick plug. Some of you guys know, if you're Miami Hurricanes fans, you know that I host the Locked On Canes podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. So I took over the podcast just over a month ago. So we've been putting out the audio episodes 5 days a week, every day of the week, weekdays. And today we just launched the YouTube channel for Locked On Canes. So audio and video every day. So do me a favor. Please subscribe to the Locked On Canes YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the audio feed. So subscribe. You got a lot of homework. Subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports. Hit the like button. Smash the like button here on this video. Subscribe to Locked On Canes and the YouTube channel. And we will talk to you guys again tomorrow on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.